Hi. Today I want to talk about a new course I'll be offering in January and February of 2025, next year, about Proclus' philosophy of time. This is the third in a series of courses where I've been explaining different aspects of his philosophy. In the first course, Time and the Gods 1, I talked about how time is a god for Proclus, and I showed arguments of his about why that's the best explanation for change, and also how he conceives of past, present, and future, for instance. In the second course, we looked specifically into the problem of kairos and chronos. So kairos, the idea that there are specific moments in time that are proper for some things to happen and improper for others. So everything has a time for it to happen. And on the other hand, chronos, this idea of time as simply flowing homogeneously. And I showed how Proclus reconciles both ideas. Now in this third course, I want to go into the many gods that contribute to time. So it's not just that time itself is a god for Proclus, and that, for instance, the heavenly bodies are gods, right? And they're important for time because of their regular motions. But rather for Proclus, there's a whole chain of gods, starting way up there, starting at what he would call, in some contexts, the very highest gods, those responsible for the most universal aspects of being that are important for time. So this will be a course that takes place over 7 weeks, and we'll start off in the first week with just a new introduction into Proclus' theology, and specifically the question about the names of the gods. Because when we talk about the gods of time, and especially the planetary gods, we're faced with the fact that these gods, or rather, that many different cultures identified the heavenly bodies that we saw as belonging to different gods, right? And so you can say in some sense that many different names are attributed to Venus, right? Is it Inanna? Is it Venus? Is it Aphrodite? And more, right? Those are just 3. And so the question about the names of the gods and whether actually these gods are nameless comes to the fore. And so in the first week, we'll talk about that. From then on, from the 2nd to the 7th week, we'll just be talking about different kinds of gods and how they contribute to time. And we'll start from way up there, from the most general gods, those that are responsible for what it means to be present, and we'll work our way down. So in the 2nd week, it's the gods of presence. In the 3rd week, it's the gods of providence, so those that are responsible for there being an intelligible structure, a structure that we can understand in the world at all. Then, in the 4th week, we'll start going into the world itself, right? So we'll look at the major gods of time in the world, which are the earth, the heavens, right? They form a couple, the earth and the heavens, Gaia and Uranos in the Hellenic pantheon, and then also the sun, right? The sun for Proclus is really the central body in the world. He calls it the time of times, and says that it is responsible not just for the light of day, but for all of the light in the world. And we'll try to understand what he means by these things. Then, in the following week, we'll go into then the planets and the stars, and what Proclus says about the meanings of the planets and their role in the constitution of time. And then we'll go, finally in the 6th week, to the gods down here in the sublunar world. So the day itself and the night itself as distinct gods, and the seasons, and also the local gods, so the gods of specific places that then establish specific calendars for those places, and how those are all integrated into the structure of time. And in the last week, we'll go back to the question that I treated in the first course of past, present, and future, and especially how this connects with the fates and also with the spirits that mediate between mortals and gods, what Proclus sometimes calls daimones, and he often distinguishes into messengers. Daimones are spirits proper, and heroes. And we'll see how these then structure the finer points of time. And that will be the 7-week course. The classes will take place, as I said, in January, February, over 7 weeks. The exact time, I'm waiting for people to enroll in the course so that I can send out a doodle, and then we can find a time where most people can watch synchronously. All the classes, along with bibliography, will be uploaded to a Google Drive that students will have access to. And so it's possible to follow the course asynchronously as well. And also, people who are interested in the previous courses, they're still available. And if you buy this course with the previous courses, you can get the previous courses at a discounted price since you're not participating in their making now, right? So you're just going to be receiving the finished thing, although I am always available for questions about the previous courses. And the course should be about 600 Brazilian reais, which should come to 120 US dollars, and payable via PayPal or in Brazil through bank transfer through Pix. I also have a Wise account for people who have the ability to transfer money through Wise. And I'm really looking forward to this. We've had some great groups in the past, and this is meant, you don't have to have watched the previous courses to follow this one, and also you don't really have to have a background in ancient philosophy to follow this course. I'm really pitching this in a broad way to anyone who is curious in a reflective way and interested in studying, this idea that there are these gods that are responsible for time. So if you have a philosophy background, if you have an ancient philosophy background, a classics background, you're just curious, an astrology background, a history of science background, there are tons of ways you can come at this. If you're just interested in time because of literature, there's just tons of access points to this material, and I'm happy to take everyone in, okay? I'm really looking forward to this, and you can find the link to enroll in the description of this video. Thanks.